rain and flooding today make it a WRAL weather alert day. I'll show you how much rain you'll see and how it could affect your plans.
Tracking road conditions, we're in the WRAL storm tracker with a look at what you'll see out on the roads this morning, where the trouble spots are and how to avoid them during your morning commute.
Homes evacuated. A gas leak forces dozens of people in Durham out in the middle of the night. The WRAL breaking news tracker is on the scene as a team tries to get that leak fixed. Well, thanks for joining us here at the 6 o'clock hour on WRAL News. A lot to get to, including some breaking news while you were sleeping. I'm Chris Lovingood.
And I'm Renee Chu. More than an inch of rain has fallen across the area already, and more rain to come. Let's get right to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner with what we can expect on this WRAL Weather Alert Day.
So we can expect to see some flooding right here in the outlined area. In green, we have a flood advisory, and that means that flooding is either happening or it's likely. A warning means that it is happening. And of course, the watch means that it could happen at some time during the day. So throwing a lot of words out there, but this advisory means you want to be especially careful in this area. Chapel Hill and Durham, up toward Wake Forest, northern Wake County, seeing some of that really heavy rain right now. In that area, we've already seen 1 to 3 inches and could see another 1 to 3. But a lot of us are going to get into this. See this band of rain here in our northern counties? That will slowly slide southward during the day, and everybody gets into these heavy bands of rain. Chapel Hill to Durham to northern Wake counties, where some of the heaviest rain is falling right now. But again, all of this will start to shift southward. We're seeing rain across most of Wake County, now moving into Johnston County, Lee County, and it will continue to travel southward. So what's new this morning? Heavy rain to the west in the Triad, 4 to 6 inches, and that's what's headed our way. Some flood advisories will be popping up during the day. We'll let you know about those. And the biggest thing you can do to stay safe is not to drive through the floodwater. That's how most people get into trouble or get hurt. Our front gradually sinks southward. Some of the heaviest rainfall totals could be from Raleigh to Lewisburg, to Goldsboro, to Smithfield. This is where we have our big flooding risk. And of course, the flood watch lasts all the way through Friday morning. This is our hour-by-hour rain chances, 100% all the way up until the evening commute. And we'll still have the chance of some showers, but it may be a little bit lighter. Heavy rain here in downtown Raleigh, 73 degrees, and it stays cool with only upper 70s this afternoon, Ken.
All right, Elizabeth, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. Because of these wet road conditions, we have the WRAL Storm Tracker out on the roads this morning. Right now, let's check in with Kelsey Coffey. She's live on I-40 in Johnston County. And Kelsey, you've been on the road since we've been on the air this morning at 4:30. Walk us through what you've been seeing so far.
Ken, we've covered quite a bit of ground this morning, and now we're just entering into Johnston County. Now, we heard what Elizabeth said earlier, just a moment ago there, that the rain is starting to move into Johnston County, and that's exactly what we're noticing now. So we have been in Durham, we've been in Chapel Hill, we've been all throughout Wake County, and this is what it looks like in Johnston. So be sure to slow down as you are driving on your morning commute. Give yourself some extra time before you head out the door, because you're going to want to drive a little bit slower. This rain could impact your visibility, especially in some of those heavy pockets like what we saw in Durham and Chapel Hill. But in the meantime, Ken, what can you tell folks before they start their morning commute?
You've hit it right on the head. Just try to leave the house a little earlier than usual because of these wet road conditions, and watch your spacing and your speed out there. Visibility could be an issue. We've got a couple of things I want to bring your attention to. Here's this incident on the I-85, I-40 split there in Orange County. We're not picking up any delays, but we're being told that at least one lane is blocked in that particular area, so keep that in mind. Those are the westbound lanes heading toward the Triad. We do have first responders working across an I-440 at Ridge Road. Again, I'll get some eyes on that and let you know if, in fact, that will affect your morning commute. But the good news is very little to no delays on all of our major routes heading into Raleigh at this hour.
I'm Laura Levine here in the WRAL Live Center. We're also tracking power outages right now across the state. And right now we are seeing thousands of people, particularly just west of us in the Winston-Salem and, of course, Greensboro. Check this out. 9,000 customers without power in the Greensboro area right now. If we move closer to the Triangle, just north of Durham in the Butner area, 320 customers without power. But this is the same system from the west that's moving into the Triangle right now. The National Weather Service shared an update this morning saying as of 4:40 this morning, we're looking at 6.35 inches of rainfall totals in High Point and 5 inches in Greensboro. So something that we'll continue to monitor, of course, as that system continues to move through the viewing area. We're also taking a look at flight delays and cancellations at this time, and we'll give that update throughout the morning as well.
And we do want to go back out to a gas leak that forced dozens of people from their homes over in Durham.
Kirsten Clark is there on South Roxborough Street in the WRAL Breaking News Tracker. Kirsten, streets are blocked off as crews try to fix this leak.
Yes, Renee, we're still seeing rain coming down pretty steadily and heavy at this point. Also still seeing some of that residual lightning. But as you mentioned, we're near the intersection of South Roxborough Street and Dunstan Avenue, coming to you from the car because of that rain and lightning. But this is just a few blocks away from the North Carolina Central University. And you can see on scene right now the Durham Fire Department as well as Enbridge Gas on scene, a crew working to fix the leak. And just a few minutes ago, we saw a truck carrying an excavator pull up on Dunstan Avenue, which is still blocked off. I want you to take a look at this video now from when we first arrived shortly before 3 o'clock this morning. You can see then Durham Police and EMS were on scene along with Durham Fire, blocking off South Roxborough Street at that point. It is now back open. And I spoke with Durham EMS. They confirmed there is a gas leak, and they told me 30 people living nearby were evacuated from their homes and are currently in a safe and dry place out of the rain. So it's still unclear at this point how long it will take Enbridge crews to fix the leak and when the road will reopen. It seems like this work possibly may have been delayed because of this rain, so we will keep an eye on progress as crews continue to work here throughout the morning. Live in Durham, Kirsten Clark, WRAL News.
A busy weekend at Carter Finley Stadium gets started tonight. Organizers are expecting things to run smoothly. Last October, traffic was a nightmare for the Chris Brown Show. Some people wasted so much time in traffic and in the parking lots that they didn't even get to see the show. This year, they say things will be different for Guns N' Roses tonight and Noah Khan Saturday. It's not as busy around the stadium, for one. The state fair complicated the situation last year. And of course, it's July, so there's no state fair right now. This year, the fairgrounds will open 3 parking lots to add more spaces.
So certainly after last year's concert, there was a lot of conversation and sitting down saying, what can we do different? What can we do better? And I think there'll be great results this week.
Organizers are urging people to get there early. Parking lots open at 1:30 for both concerts. We'll be keeping an eye on traffic conditions throughout the day as people begin to arrive for the concert. We'll have the latest beginning in our evening newscasts starting at 4 p.m.
Well, police in Henderson are investigating a possible double shooting. Police say they responded to a shots fired call on Marshall Street yesterday evening, and that's where they found a man with a gunshot wound to the head. Now, he was taken to the hospital, but his injuries were non-life-threatening. And then later on in the evening, police say another man arrived at the ER with a gunshot wound. Police believe these injuries are connected to the same shooting. Anyone with information is asked to contact the Henderson Police Department.
The U.S. has wrapped up a 12th straight night of strikes on Iran. This comes just hours after the president attended the dignified transfer of 4 U.S. service members killed in the Middle East. Among those brought home, 2 Fort Bragg soldiers. Sergeant Michael Swinton, a Fayetteville native, died while disposing of a downed Iranian drone in Iraq. And First Lieutenant Tyler Feehan died in an Iranian attack on a U.S. airbase in Jordan. So far, 18 U.S. service members have died in the war on Iran.
Today, the Cary Town Council plans to address a deal that would allow the Raleigh Housing Authority to buy a Cary apartment complex. And the Housing Authority is under contract to buy Amberwood Apartments. Residents, though, have been raising concerns about the authority buying a property outside its jurisdiction. The Housing Authority told WRAL deals such as this one keep major investors from buying the properties and then raising the rent. There will be a public hearing tonight about whether the authority will be granted tax-exempt status.
We will be getting new numbers this morning on the cyclospora outbreak in Wake County. 366 cases have now been reported. Statewide, 561 people are confirmed to have gotten sick as health officials look for the source. They are reminding everyone that a false positive does not mean a false alarm. Over the weekend, the FDA said that a lettuce sample from Taylor Farms was a false positive. But the FDA then said that does not mean the supplier is cleared from the investigation. So far, North Carolina's outbreak has not been tied to Taylor Farms.
It gets complex because even if you can find an importer, they may be importing from 20 or 30 different farms, and they may be mixing the food together when they chop it up and put it into, say, a lettuce bag. So it is complex trying to figure out exactly where the source was.
To reduce your risk, public health officials recommend that you buy locally grown produce if possible. It's also recommended that you thoroughly wash and cook your produce.
Well, new this morning, a Secret Service agent on Vice President J.D. Vance's security detail is suspected of leaking information to the press. A source says the agent is under internal review and has been placed on administrative leave. That same source says the agent is believed to have leaked information for a news story that included details about Vance's travel. Now, it's not clear right now if any administrative punishment or criminal charges are pending with this.
GalaxyCon gets started today at the Raleigh Convention Center. More than 40,000 people are expected to attend over the 4 days of this convention. Dozens of celebrities will make special appearances from the worlds of television, movies, pro wrestling, and more. Doors open today at 2 o'clock. You can find the full list of celebrity appearances on WRAL.com. Solving crimes faster. Law enforcement officials in Wake County believe this is now possible thanks to a new DNA lab. How this could extend to cases beyond our area.
And keeping costs down. That is the pledge President Donald Trump is expected to announce from utility companies and data center developers. The concerns he's addressing as many people in North Carolina say no to data centers.
And the rain is here. Heavy rain from the Triangle area northward could cause problems for your plans all day long. I'm going to show you the timeline and how much rain we could total up.
Stay safe with the latest WRAL Weather Alert Day info. Get up to the minute weather and traffic conditions when you get in your car. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM, in Durham 96.5 FM, and everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
6:14, we have a flood advisory in effect for some of our northern counties. Chapel Hill, Durham, Wake Forest, all under this. We have this really heavy band that's moving toward Wake Forest right now. So you really need to watch out for flooding. We've had 1 to 3 inches in this area. Could see another 1 to 3 inches total. So we're seeing most of the rain from the Triangle area northward and northeast right now. Our totals easily are going to be 2 to 4 inches back to the west, 4 to 6 inches. And so that certainly could be us as well. Our flood watch continues all the way until tomorrow morning. A watch means that we could see some flooding. An advisory means that it is likely happening, or at least will soon. This evening, for the evening commute, we start to see the rain tapering off a little bit, but unfortunately another round could come just in time for the Guns N' Roses concert, so we're going to be watching that closely. The rainfall has been pretty heavy in Durham this morning. Our temperatures in the low 80s in Southern Pines and Fayetteville, where it isn't raining, where the rain is falling, we're in the low to mid 70s. Definitely a day to take your workout inside, especially from the Triangle area northward. We'll see a high this afternoon of only 77, Ken.
Excellent. What's not excellent, these wet road conditions, and that's why we have the WRAL Storm Tracker out on the roads this morning, giving you real-time conditions. This is in Johnston County right now. You can see the windshield wipers going very rapidly. Definitely leave the house a little sooner than usual this morning, just to be on the safe side. Back here in the WRAL Traffic Center, I want to give you this live look at I-440 and Ridge Road. About 10 minutes ago, I told you about a crash on I-440 westbound near Ridge Road. We're not seeing the crash on this camera, but it clearly that that incident is not slowing down traffic in any way. It says we widen out the view, just a little bit of a slowdown right near the Glenwood Avenue exit. Where we are seeing this slowdown is in Orange County, I-40, I-85 split in Orange County, those westbound lanes. So if you're heading west this morning, you might want to check an alternate route here in the WRAL Traffic Center.
We have new information about that gas leak in Durham. This is a live look from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker on South Roxborough Street. So within the last 5 minutes, the Durham Fire Department confirmed 35 people were evacuated from homes from Dunston Avenue. And those people are now at C.C. Spalding Elementary School while crews work to fix the leak. No one is hurt.
Wake County has a DNA forensics lab that's open and it is ready to take on cases. And the hope is to solve crimes faster. Wake County will control its own DNA forensic lab, and it will only process Wake County cases, at least to start. This means less reliance on state analysts and quicker results for law enforcement. The director says this new lab could drastically reduce the months-long wait times.
We could cut it down probably in some cases, and we may maybe turn around a day or two. We can add additional evidence to a case, subtract evidence from a case, because we have control over it. We're using the state laboratory. That's difficult to do, and also, we got to wait our turn.
Now, Penica says this new lab can help connect the dots in cold cases and even national cases.
Today, President Donald Trump is expected to announce an expansion of a cost pledge tied to artificial intelligence. He's expected to announce that electric utilities and data center developers are joining what is called the Ratepayer Protection Pledge. It aims to protect Americans from the cost of growing electricity demand due to AI. The White House says the pledge will cover 80% of the electricity delivered to U.S. homes and businesses.
Tropical storm Bertha is moving toward Texas as it loses some of its strength, but that did not stop the Gulf Coast from feeling the effects after it made landfall yesterday. Heavy rain, gusty winds, and coastal flooding affected many places from Florida to Louisiana. And forecasters say Bertha's strongest winds and even the heaviest rain, it should stay offshore. However, the governor of Louisiana says people should not let their guard down.
The storm is likely not to produce the type of rainfall or wind event that it could have. But I want to remind everyone of something important, that forecasts can change, and even a weaker storm can produce dangerous rainfall, localized flooding, and hazardous travel conditions.
Well, in southern Louisiana was under both tropical storm and extreme heat warnings for most of the day yesterday.
And we could see some hazardous conditions as some parts are seeing heavy rain right now, and that's producing some localized flooding on the roads.
Exactly. So we have this flood advisory. That means that flooding is likely here. 1 to 3 inches already in this area, which includes Durham, Chapel Hill, Morrisville, Wake Forest. Another 1 to 3 is possible.
That's a lot of rain.
It's a lot of rain. Back to the west, they've seen as much as 2 to 6 inches across the triad. So definitely a lot of rain headed our way this morning. And the best way to stay safe is to make sure you're not driving across a road that's covered with water. It can get tricky during the morning commute, right? You've got to get to school, you got to get to work, but try to find a different route if you come across a large area of water. So most of the rain is from the Triangle area northward, northeast, up toward Lewisburg, Roanoke Rapids, but this will continue to gradually sink southward as we get through the day. Some heavier rain in Apex and Holly Springs, as well as Pittsboro right now. We have this band of real heavy rain that's stretching from West Raleigh all the way up through Wake Forest. Not expecting wind damage with that necessarily, but we are going to see some breezy conditions with that. Here's a look at some of the rainfall totals, and you get an idea of where it's rained most heavily. Back here across Winston-Salem, High Point, Greensboro, but we're starting to really add things up where we had some of that rain moving southward this morning. So Greensboro, at least in terms of the estimate, 6.5 inches, as much as 3 to 3.5 inches in the northern part of Alamance and Durham counties and the southern part of Granville County, as much as 2.5 to 3 inches all the way up through Henderson towards Roanoke Rapids. Around Wilson and Rocky Mount, it's getting closer to an inch. Our flood watch continues not just the rest of the day today, but through Friday morning with a chance of some rain early tomorrow as well. And then in red, that's potentially where we see some of the heaviest rainfall, where we have the greatest flooding potential. For Friday, we continue with that flood potential. It's not going to rain as heavily, but with all the rain we see today, we add a little bit more to it, and we continue that flood risk. At 9 a.m., we can see the rain between Roanoke Rapids and Southern Pines. At 10 a.m., it's here. Once we get past lunchtime, it moves into our southern counties, but then begins to fall apart a little bit. But look at this. Between, say, 9 and midnight, we may have another round of some rain. I know that may be concerning to people heading out to the Guns N' Roses concert. On Friday, we have the potential for some scattered showers, especially in the morning, but the afternoon and evening are starting to look a little bit drier. 100% chance for it today, 40 Friday, 40 Saturday. Some of the newer runs of the models are showing a bit more rain for Saturday. So an additional 2 to 4 to 5 inches of rain across parts of our area. Mid-70s for the Guns N' Roses concert, but it does look like we could see some scattered showers during the concert, and we can't rule that out for Noah Khan on Saturday either. Cool today, a high of only 77, and the comfortable temperatures continue through the weekend before the 90s return next week. Ken?
All right, listen, what's happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center because of these wet road conditions. There you see the WRAL Storm Tracker out on the roads this morning, making its way back from the Johnston County area. You can see the windshield wipers going in. People are taking their time out there, so that's really good news. Definitely leave the house a little sooner than usual to get to their destination on time. I want to give you this live look at I-440 at Ridge Road. There was a crash right here in the clearing phase, but it's clearly not affecting traffic right now. Just a little bit of a slowdown. Right now, we're just looking at a 2-minute delay on that northern loop of the Beltline.
All right, time on the clock is 6:22. Testing kitchen soap. It may have more uses than you think. 5 on Your Side shares the surprising do's and don'ts.
This What's Trending report is sponsored by Call Dad AC and Heating.
It's a good day when you get to talk about Glenn Powell. He's taking a big swing in his next role, and William Shatner is opening up about his cancer battle.
Yeah, let's talk about it this morning with Ken Smith and What's Trending.
Yeah, so let's start with Glenn Powell. He's playing a baseball legend in one of his next roles. He will be playing Lou Gehrig in an upcoming movie directed by Richard Linklater. Now, this is not the first time the two have teamed up. Powell was also in the Linklater-directed films Hitman and Everybody Wants Some.
And of course, Lou Gehrig was one of baseball's greats, and I think a lot of people, when they hear Lou Gehrig, they think of Lou Gehrig's disease,
Right.
what he died from, ALS. But instead of focusing on how he died, it's cool to have a movie about how he lived.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be good. So actor William Shatner revealing he and his daughter fought stage 4 cancer at the same time. Melanie Shatner Gresh was diagnosed with breast cancer back in 2022. Now, a year later, Shatner says he was diagnosed with stage 4 melanoma. Both are now cancer-free.
Cancer is awful, but it is great that they're cancer-free now. And actually, Shatner will be at CalXCon on this weekend in Raleigh. He also has 2 books and 2 albums coming out soon, so he's staying pretty busy.
At 95.
Always a fan favorite there.
All right, thanks, Ken. All right, we're talking about a wet commute this morning as the WRAL Storm Tracker is keeping an eye on the roads on this WRAL Weather Alert Day. What you need to know before you grab your umbrella and you hit the road.
Gas leak. The WRAL breaking news tracker at this scene on South Roxborough Street in Durham. The effort to get things fixed after people were forced to evacuate in the rain. We'll hear from Kirsten Clark there in just a moment. Elizabeth.
And our band of heavy rain gradually sinking southward right through the Triangle area right now. I'll show you how much rain we've seen and how much more there is to come.